Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at creating some colour ladders. And these ladders are going to explore different types of colour, and we're going to look at hues, tints, shades and tones. And for each one we're going to use a different material. Now, last lesson you completed your colour wheel, and the first strip that we're going to do is basically just a further exploration of this. I'm not going to make you mix your colours this time, well, not mix like we did here. You're going to be allowed to use different coloured pencils, but we are essentially looking at these 12 colours, although there are only 7 boxes, so 2 of these colours we're going to miss off. I don't really mind which 2 it is that you miss off. I'm completely flexible with that, but what I would like you to do is to follow the kind of path of the colours. So as an example, if you want red to be your first colour, then you want red orange to be your second, orange to be your next, yellow orange to be your next, then yellow, and so on all the way around until you've filled your 7 boxes. You might instead want to start on yellow, in which case take it from that direction, or you might want to start on orange. It's entirely up to you, and I don't really mind what it is that you do. So if we start with that first, the first thing that we're going to need is a red pencil in order to start. So I'm going to take my red and I'm going to use it to colour in that first box. Now, when I said that you weren't going to have to mix your pencils like you did on your colour wheel, that wasn't completely true. So you are going to have to do a little bit of colour mixing. And I will explain that in just a second. Now, when you do your boxes, just like you did when you were in year 7, you've got to try to keep your drawing within the lines. The presentation of your books, I say this on almost every one of these introductions and demonstrations that I do. The presentation of your book is absolutely crucial. It's got to look good, neat, with care and consideration. You know, everybody has different ways of presenting things, but making sure that you do have a good quality of work in your book is really, really important. So the next box that we move on to is a red-orange. So going again with my red pencil, not pressing down quite so hard. Now I'm holding an orange pencil here. So rather than using the yellow to go over the top, I'm going to use an orange. So there is no harm in using the kind of pre-made colours, so to speak. This was very much about getting you to understand your colour mixing and how just 3 colours can be used to generate 12. This, on the other hand, is more about exploring those colours, those very bright hues. Okay, and you will also see a difference when you do use an orange pencil and how that works. And then you can start to make decisions about, you know, which one do I actually prefer. Maybe you think it looks better when it's done with a yellow. I think it looks better when it's done with a yellow. You might not feel like that, and that's absolutely fine. Now, for me, that's come out okay. I think I prefer it to be a little bit brighter. So I'm actually just going to come in with a little bit of a yellow pencil over the top. Once again, make sure that you've got a good selection of pencils next to you, because they do wear down pretty quick. So that yellow there, just making that slightly more orange, which I'm really happy with. Okay, so then I've got my next box, which is going to be just pure orange. So I can just use my orange pencil now. Just over the top, and again keeping it super neat. Okay, so you get the general gist of it, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish off this row. You can watch this slightly faster. Okay, so that's my strip of hues. I'm really happy with that. I think that's come out quite nicely. I think I've got a good step between each one. So now we're going to have a look at the second tonal strip, contonal strip. Okay, so what we're going to do with this next one is we're going to have a look at using chalk to create a tint. Now, a tint is any hue or colour with white added. Now, what we want to try and do is create a tonal strip where we move from the hue down to a lighter tone, and we want to do it in steps, because obviously there isn't just one type of lighter orange. There's orange, and then there's a slightly lighter orange, and then a lighter still, and a lighter still, and a lighter still. And what we want to try and do is get that. And why we're doing this is because when you do your drawing, when you're drawing from observation, what you will find is that there isn't just light and dark. There is light, and then there's thousands of dark, of sort of slightly darks, variations from that lightest point to that darkest point. Just as there isn't one light area of an object, there are thousands of slightly lighter, lighter still, lighter still, lighter still areas. So what we have to do is we've got to try and capture those. So I'm just going to use my finger just to blend this in. Now, chalk is messy, very, very messy. Okay, so you have to be really, really careful with this particular exercise and try really hard with your chalk dust not to get it everywhere. So I've done my first box and I'm relatively happy with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my book up to the edge of my table. I'm just going to give it a little tap to just take off a lot of that chalk dust, and then a gentle blow. Try not to go mad with the blowing, otherwise you're going to get chalk dust everywhere. So my next square, I'm going to repeat what I've just done and bring my orange across, maybe not making it quite so dark this time, not quite as much chalk on the surface. Okay, and then I'm going to take some white. Now, I don't want to go mad to start with, because I only want a little bit of white in here. I'm just going to gently brush that over the surface and then use my finger to blend that in. Tap off my excess, and hopefully I should be able to see fractionally lighter. If I don't feel like that lightness is quite pronounced enough, then I can just take my white and just add in a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry this on down the page, and with each step that I take I'm going to try and make it just a little bit lighter. So a little bit less orange this time, a little bit more white. Okay, so that's my tonal, my tint